I've made it to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. On the banks of the Ohio River, West Virginia on this side, Ohio on that side. Beautiful. So I've made it to Point Pleasant, home of the Mothman. There he is, the Mothman. So in the 1960s, 1966, 1967, it said he terrorized this town. Maybe not terrorized per se, because we don't know. Was he good, bad? But people saw him around, and there was a big bridge collapse, the Silver Bridge collapse over on the Ohio River. And people say that was, Mothman was there, and haven't heard from him since. But there's all sorts of other stuff going on here too, like UFOs and aliens and stuff. So we're gonna take a look at all of it today. So museum's over here, and it'll be pretty cool. Now, the story of Mothman dates back to November 1966, when two young couples drove into the TNT area north of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, when they realized they were not alone. What they saw that night has evolved into one of the great mysteries of all time, hence, the Mothman legacy began. The TNT area mentioned here was the old West Virginia munitions factory where they were making munitions for World War II. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. But for now, let's go to the museum and learn more about the sightings of the Mothman. Inside the world's only Mothman Museum now, they have all sorts of displays here about who the Mothman was. Was he a large bird? Was he an alien? And of course, the story of what happened on that November night when those young couples saw what they believed to be the Mothman. We have original newspaper clippings. I really enjoyed coming to this museum because it has the real history. As I looked at, was it a sandhill crane? What could this possibly be? What about all the UFO sightings and all these other things going on? So there was a lot of things going on at this time, which made it really, really interesting. Now, they also have some displays here of props from the movie The Mothman Prophecy. Now, one of the reporters wrote a book as he was covering the story of the Mothman. He wrote a book, The Mothman Prophecies, which became a movie starring Richard Gere, and they have some props there. They also have a sign that points 9 miles to the north where the TNT area is. Now, that TNT area is said to be where the Mothman lived. There's an old power plant that used to be there. There's the World War II munitions factory. We'll drive out there and take a look at how creepy this place is. There's old bunkers there where they used to store TNT. And we can still go look at those and see the Mothman. So really, really neat. A lot of cool historical things about the Silver Bridge collapse, about the reported UFO sightings, and the strangeness of the Mothman. So definitely worth a visit if you ever find yourself in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Now, the Silver Bridge disaster took place on December 15th, 1967. And at the time, it was the worst bridge disaster in the United States, which prompted Congress to pass a law looking at bridge inspections. It was very tragic, the loss of life. And all through this area here at Point Pleasant, there are markers and memorials to the Silver Bridge collapse. So what I found very striking was this mural on the back break wall here where the bridge would have been, on the ramp up into the bridge. They've painted the bridge, and it's, you can kind of feel like you're still waiting to come across or go across. And I felt like a great sadness the whole time as I walked around this area. You could sense the tragedy here of what had taken place just 10 days before Christmas in 1967. I did get a chance to drive across the bridge. We'll take a look at that here in a second. And on the Ohio side, they have a nice little marker that mention all of the victims of the disaster. So let's take a look at driving across the new Silver Memorial Bridge that replaced the Silver Bridge here in Point Pleasant. Okay, so we are going over the bridge which replaced the Silver Bridge. So this bridge,
in a quarter mile, take the Ohio 7 exit toward Pomeroy Hill.
Bridge. Okay. Cross into Ohio.
Take the Ohio 7 exit.
Now we're into Ohio. At the rest stop on the Ohio side, they have this marker for the Silver Bridge disaster about a mile away from where the actual bridge took place. And as the marker notes, it was rush hour traffic on December 15th, 1967. The traffic lights weren't working properly either, so all these bridges, trucks are on there. and one single eye bar collapsed. Here's what that eye bar would look like. I also have a marker there for that, as you can see here. But one of those, just one eye bar on the Ohio side of the bridge, failed, and the entire bridge fell into the Ohio River. Now, this marker is even more significant because on the reverse side, they have all the names listed of those who perished in the disaster. You can see it was more than just people from West Virginia or Ohio. There were people from other states as well, too. Families that were involved. Very tragic, very sad, but very nice to be here to pay my respects to these people and to learn a little bit about this history, even though the way I came about it was because of the legend of the Mothman. It still opened my eyes to some history that I was unfamiliar with. So we mourn still to this day this tragedy, but we are grateful for the inspections that came out of it so that it hopefully never happens again. Let's get back to the Mothman story now and head to the TNT area to see where he was first discovered and to look at where he was alleged to have been living. We're in the old TNT area. Pond looks like it's seen better days. On the lookout for these old munition bunkers where they made TNT for World War II, which is also supposed to be the home, possibly, of Mothman, which, well, I think I found one. And I did. These had TNT in here for World War II. Creepy. Definitely a big echo, but not a whole lot else. Imagine there was TNT in here though, World War II. They stored it all in here, and then our good friend, the Mothman. So it's just built into the landscape here, which is really bizarre. And there's probably still remnants here on the ground of old TNT, DNT, the wildlife area now, but I don't think that it's a place you want to hang out too long. It is still, I believe it was a super fun area to clean up, but you see some nice flowers out there. The pond. Of course, driving along out in this area, you might have run into Mothman. So, who knows? So I think I may have found another one. And I did. I mean, they're just recessed back there. This one looks like it's closed, so we're not going to do much, but they're just sort of hidden there. That one definitely doesn't look open, but old bunkers where they stored TNT for World War II. And of course, in the 1960s, this became popular because of Mothman, where people were driving through here and they thought that they saw the Mothman. It looked like a man, but then he was real big with red eyes and these big wings, and he could fly. There was a power plant around here, which has since been destroyed, but that was supposedly where he lived, in this general area here. So, the Mothman, everybody. So what have we learned? Was the Mothman real? Was it just a sandhill crane? Was it some sort of other bird or wildlife that took on a mutation from all of the different chemicals being used here at the TNT area? Who knows? But the mystery continues. Who or what was the Mothman? Will we ever know? Who knows? Come out to Point Pleasant yourself and see if you can solve the mystery of the Mothman. See you next time.